welcome back to Kicking It With Kenya. I still got Earl on the couch. I still got Fia on the couch with my co-host Lewis. We just want to skate right on here because I know this is a very, very spicy topic when it comes down to men. But shall they get snipped or not? Is the question when it comes to birth control methods. Can vasectomies be part of this conversation? Where are y'all standing on this?
Okay. Vasectomies?
Okay.
They're reversible. I feel like, if you want less than a chance of getting caught up with somebody that you really see yourself in the future with, then you can. But I don't know, man. I guess it's a mental thing. I'm not really.
What the hell?
I know
I'm not trying to go under no procedures or nothing with the body. I'm good off that. But this goes back to why dabbling in pleasures of the flesh really is this is the discussion. You know what I mean? There's one foolproof method: abstinence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Look at your face.
I'm just saying. This is if you don't, you know what I'm saying? Because you can say, well, what methods can we? Because may not be ready for kids. Abstinence.
Shit.
So you expect people to just not be having sex
until you're married?
I practice abstinence when I have to go 2 months without anything prior to a fight. So that's enough for me.
That's abstinence. When I'm training, then that makes sense. But other than that, like.
But I hear that. That's the most foolproof method.
I'm just saying.
It is the most foolproof method, but at the end of the day, it's not the most used method. So
in this era, yes, if we want to go with the Bible, we're all some sinners, and we need to be shameful. But I just feel like there are a lot of birth control, but there's a lot of preventative measures. You got the condoms, you got the pill, you got the NuvaRing, you got the shot. But as I'm listing them, there's only one that's for men, and it's like everything else is like the responsibility of the one. Yeah, I said condoms are fed. I said everything is like the majority is for men. Okay. The majority is for women, but only like one thing is necessarily for a man. And I'm just like, well, what's up, man? Like, what's the deal? Y'all can't get snipped? Because clearly, like, I feel like that should be more higher on the list than us taking these pills and stuff. Y'all don't think that it's important? Or what is the fear? What is the stigma around
it? Not even that it's important. It's just like when it comes to like any type of operation or any type of thing, like you said, it's probably more of a mental thing for a lot of men. You know what I'm saying? Myself included. Like me, would I go for it? No. I have no interest in touching anything, and no, I'm good.
But wouldn't you like the certainty of knowing that I know I'm not going to have kids until I'm 100% ready? Instead of relying on these methods that have been proven
that are not effective
to still get girls pregnant or put the ball in the girl. Let's be real. There's girls out there that trap men. You putting the ball in her court, and she be like, "I'm pregnant." No, you're not. No, you're not. I'll snip, bitch. Like, no, you're not.
Like no, you're not. Futures in the world who are always just trying to fly.
Not the futures in the world.
Who fly the girls out
on the NBA young boys.
Get them pregnant, and then go through the whole rigmarole of, it's not mine, for it to turn out to be his. Now have his 9th child and not learn his lesson. Snip your shit if you're gonna be out here just bagging chicks off of Instagram. Like I can't understand how a man with that much wealth and that much sense can't say to himself, let me reduce my child support payments by getting a snip done so that if I do want to go out here and hold up and be with as many women as I want to, I know for certain I'm not going to have another woman come and say, I'm pregnant by you.
My thing is, I need y'all to really take me, y'all the men on the couch, take me on the tour of your brain. What is the mental block?
It's just emasculated.
You think it's emasculated with that? What about you, Louis? Like, what is the mental block? I just need to know.
I just am not a fan of doing anything to my body that I just don't feel is necessary when it comes to, preventative measures like that. Like even with the vaccine, I'm just not a fan of that. Just me personally, like I said.
And we have that option to choose to do that. And I know what the argument is going to be.
I know.
But at the same time, we're not holding the gun to y'all head either.
But at the same time, as a woman, I feel like we're policing the wrong thing. Like, it's kind of like you guys carry the actual gun.
Yes.
You guys carry the actual like
bullets, the
bullets.
ammunition.
So why are we going to police the woman who is just the person, the person walking by and looking at the guns? Oh, we're gonna put the gun. We're gonna put the
guns don't kill people.
So you know what gun?
Oh,
Let's say, gun control, right? You don't have to buy a gun. You don't have to shoot a gun.
you know gun control,
the gun's
right?
only dangerous when you pull in the trigger.
When you're
But y'all don't pull the trigger when you have sex. You pull out. What do you .com? I'm just saying, like when y'all.
Depends on.
Exactly. So if you're pulling the trigger, you out here with the.
Let's be 100% real. We're gonna get real.
Okay.
How often, like if you're in a relationship, I'm not talking like somebody in the flame. Do you use condoms?
Relationship, no.
So, as a man, you are not using a condom, which means you're saying I'm not putting a gun to your head. You kind of are. Like you're not using the condom, but you're going inside of me. That's Precum.
I'm not raping her.
No, it's not rape.
No.
I'm saying,
but I'm saying I'm not raping her, and then going in there raw is just like she knows that she's equally taking the same risk as I am.
but why we can't go raw and we just know you snipped?
Yeah.
Why do we have to take this pill that
Because now that you're
You want a pleasure
right, I
sex,
don't
right?
want any condoms.
Okay.
Now you know
But
you understand that puts the pressure on.
But don't you females say that y'all get more pleasure with
No,
it too?
we want it too.
We want it too.
But my thing is like it's pleasurable, right? But yes, it's pleasurable. But as a woman, we're still mentally thinking, I hope I don't get pregnant. Even if we are taking the pill or we're taking the ring or we're doing whatever it is we're doing, yes, it feels good. But there's not a woman alive who can sit there and say, as you are fucking, you're not thinking, I hope I don't get pregnant. Or if your period is even a day late, I hope I am not pregnant.
To show
Because
up.
at this end, and I'm a girl who is like a birth control believer. Like, I 100% took the pill all the time. Since 16 until, I was on a patch in the pill. Since 16 all the way up until I was like 27. And I was just on some like, I just don't want to get pregnant. I don't want to get pregnant. But then I started thinking, I'm like, I'm doing all of this mental fuckery so that we can feel something. And I'm doing this to my body. And he doesn't have any responsibility at all. So then now there's no raw anymore.
Furthermore, there's some stuff that we're taking into our body and as you mentioned it, that's why I was like, because it's unnecessary for us to put all these additional hormones in our body. And a lot of people don't even pay attention to the side effects of birth control. You can get depression, you can have hair loss, weight gain, all kinds of things can have anxiety, like with unnecessary bleeding, hemorrhaging. Like,
oh my God,
there's so much shit
cramps
happen when you take this birth control.
All right, I don't really know much, but also maybe it's more accessible to y'all because you get birth control underneath your insurance, correct?
Not all insurances cover birth control, and that's another issue too.
It should be.
That's another issue.
But just saying the cost of it.
But like vasectomies and everything, that's probably out of pocket. Like your insurance doesn't cover vasectomies. I'm guessing. I mean, I never inquired, so I can't really know for sure. But I'm just guessing it's easier for women to.
It's worth a Google. Let's see.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I'm about to Google it because this is my thing, right? How much is too much
because
for you to know that you can do? Obviously, I still feel like I still preach safe sex. I still preach make sure that you and your partner both got tested so you know where you stand before you take the rubber off.
Right.
But my whole thing is after you did all of that, my thing is
the next concern is the baby.
Wouldn't you? How much is too much to know that I'm not going to get caught out here in these streets? Like before I Google, I want to know what's the price for you. Like, how much is too much for you to be like, I'm not going to pay that to know that you're not going to get caught out in the streets. If you had to put a price on it.
Put a price on?
Yeah.
2 racks.
2,000 is too much?
Oh no, I'm cool with 2,000.
What about you, Louis?
As in, how much would I pay for?
How much would you pay to like if you know, you're basically paying for security. Like, I know that there's not
pay this amount, and you would never have to worry about having a child because
you don't want children.
No.
So how much would you pay
to ensure
to know that this cannot happen?
I mean, I guess I wouldn't necessarily put a price on it. I would just kind of see what it is, and I have other things that I put my money towards, so that's not really a high concern for me.
Mm-hmm. So you said 2,000.
I'm just being logical. I think
2,000 is too much, or 2,000 is the highest you'll go.
No, 2,000 is not too much because then when you really factor in how much a child costs.
Oh, for 18 plus years. For 18
Yeah.
years
18 year plus.
Like that 2,000 is like probably a week.
It's a drop in the bucket.
You know,
Depending on your insurance, vasectomies, this is just a quick Google. I don't know how true this is, people, so don't, somebody else could write that in the comments. It could cost anywhere between $0 to $1,000.
That's like.
So why don't more men get it? That's the question I'm just asking.
Because of the emasculating factor that he
Yeah,
put in.
I really feel it's a mental thing.
Like, and I'm not trying to make this like a bash men conversation, because it's not. My whole thing is like, I feel like we're all sexual beings.
Yeah.
And we all like to enjoy sex. But for a woman, I feel like, I think this lacks education, too, with men. Like, y'all don't know, because they only talk to women about the birth control and the side effects. So, like, you guys aren't aware of all that can happen to us internally at all.
We just know that, okay, we shoot the club up, that's cool.
Yes, and that's exactly what, and it's a lot of that has to deal with the fact that a lot of our science is very male driven as well. Like the money and the funding to go into trying to figure out how to put the kibosh on men having babies, they're not going to want to invest that. They want to invest it in women. A lot of that goes back to, I hate to say it this way, the patriarchy, but it really is, because women were supposed to be the ones to guard everything, right? Historically, we're supposed to be chaste and virginal, and you're trying to get to us. So the responsibility of whatever happens after you get to us historically has been on the woman. The man's job is just, we know that men are made. That's what their purpose. You know, historically, their purpose is to father children, create their lineage, create their whatever, their progeny, whatever. And so a lot of that responsibility fell on the women. Like, we were just going to be constantly out here pushing babies out, pushing babies out, pushing babies out. Then it became like, okay, we don't want to push babies out anymore. So the men, scientists are like, well, they're the ones complaining about the pregnancy. Well, let's solve it for them.
Even in the schools, like, sex ed class, not once have I ever been told about vasectomy. It's about condoms, abstinence, and for women, you can choose go on birth control.
Birth control.
Starting from like, 15 we could go without a parent or something like that. So it's just like, I learned about vasectomies later on in my 20s. So I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I was never informed about that.
There's a show on Netflix called Sex Explained.
Yes, I love that show. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, and it like breaks down. It really breaks down again
Birth
how
control.
it's a very male driven just society. That's the reason why we have to go through all these iterations of birth control, and all the birth control that's been on the market. You have some that kill women. Like, women are killing themselves to just not have a child.
Have a baby, or making themselves infertile.
And understand this. The reason why I think a lot of women, Kenya and myself, definitely we very push for like the concept of male-led contraception is because of the fact that when you get us pregnant, if you got me pregnant today, not saying that you would, or anything, but if you were to get me pregnant today, I'm going to be with this child for like growing a baby for 9 months. In that 9 months that I am carrying this one child, for every day that I am pregnant, you can get another woman pregnant.
All the time.
Every single time. Like, that's, so it's crazy to me that the contraception has to be on us when we can only produce one child at a time, but men can have an infinite amount of babies. And throughout your lifetime, Larry King had a child at like, what, 70 something? It's like crazy to me that it's contraception on women. Like, it hurts our bodies. It can kill us. Our
breasts cause cysts.
All kinds. It can create cancers. It can damage us, and yet the responsibility is on us. Meanwhile, mothers my sister always says, mother's baby, father's baby. When we get pregnant, the first thing that happens is, are you sure it's mine? Are you sure it's mine? I don't know if that's mine. It could have been somebody else's. And you don't have that obligation or that attachment to that baby as we do, because we have to carry the shit for 9 months.
Or
you know
10 sometimes.
Or 10 sometimes. At that time, a man can decide to walk away and be free of that action of him blowing up, shooting up the club, and I'm stuck with that responsibility.
Versus
you don't have
like
to do it.
Versus like if you just got snipped. Like, that's it. That's literally like that's it. You get snipped. You go about your business.
And the beauty of that is if you decide to have children, you can go back and reverse that and decide to have kids.
I was about to get on that because you see, both y'all descriptions are yours is more horrifying. You say snipped, it's just like, but then what she's saying, I think it's also do.
He said yours is more horrifying.
Yeah, a lot of men think when you snip and then you just cut the penis. No, we're going in, we're cutting the vas deferens, you're stitching it up a little bit, and you're going about your business.
When you say snip, you're just like, I don't want to do that. But when you say it's reversible, and you kind of coddle people into certain things. It's like,
okay, it's reversible. It's like a 2-hour procedure. You could be in and out the same day.
It's a walk-in
out.
procedure.
Walk in, walk out.
So maybe you guys are onto a point when you speak on the lack of education of it. Because I know for me, like the first time I ever heard Snipped, all I think of like scissors coming close to
like chopping the balls off.
that's
and you touch the balls like this and it hurts. So
because they think about how when men think about like how dogs get spayed or neutered. That's how they think it is for them. Like,
so is that what you think with the snip thing?
I'm not gonna lie, that's the first thing that comes to my head.
Yes.
But like that is just because, like I said, it's the way you describe it. Because I'm not really like educated in like that. But again, like for me, like my mentality has always been different with that. Like if I were to shoot the club up, for example, and I get someone pregnant, I would not abandon them because I now have a responsibility to you based on my actions. I have to step up to the plate and be, even if whether I'm ready or not, and be the best father I can possibly be because this baby did not ask to be born.
Right.
This was us doing something, and we knew the risk. We weighed the risk, and at the end of the day, like I said, this child is my responsibility as well. So I'm not going to leave you on your own with the child. I would never do that.
If you want to be irresponsible without the practice of abstinence or condoms, then you got to be responsible.
So
but I get when you say the security of the fact that I'm still not carrying the baby. I still have that option to. It's easy to just walk away and never come back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, and I get how. So I understand where you're coming from more so than I did when we first started this conversation.
So
I can see your point.
I actually have a question for both of you. It's different questions. So with you, me and you have had conversations, and you're really like, I don't want children. So what keeps you from doing it? Like, are you still like maybe on the fence? Because like you could eliminate that right now. And like anybody who dates you, they just gotta understand. And it's still, even if you change your mind, it's still reversible. But what stops you from getting it done?
I don't necessarily think anything stops me other than the fact that I'm not, quote unquote, out here in these streets messing with all of these chicks. So I don't have that fear of that. My focus is in what I'm trying to do for my future. My focus is in what I'm trying to build and put together for me. So I'm not really focused on like I'm smashing this chick and this chick and this chick. I'm not that sexually active right now. So that's not my focus.
Okay.
So that's probably the biggest thing.
Now I have a question to add before you ask that question. So with that, how would you then navigate that if you decided that you were going to be in a serious committed relationship with a woman but you still didn't want children? How would you prevent that?
Well, I think even before that, I think that's a conversation that I would, as I've told you many times, be upfront about with someone I'm dating, because I know a lot of women do want kids,
right?
And they want them by a certain age. So for me, it's never really come up as far as that goes. Like I've dated one woman that was on the same plane with me, not wanting kids. So it's like, okay, you know, boom.
You mostly dated girls with like kids already, though, right?
No, I've never dated someone with kids.
Oh, I thought you
I've talked to girls that
okay.
had kids, but I've never officially dated a girl with a kid. But yeah, if it came down to it and I'm dating someone and what did you say, they want kids?
No, if you were dating a person, the two of you are seeing a foreseeable future together and you both don't want kids, like how would you, what it would be? Would you just be on condoms in perpetuity, or would you just not get snipped so that way you both know that it's never going to happen?
If it's someone that I'm with, that I'm like serious with and I'm looking to spend the rest of my life with, that would probably be something I would consider it. Okay. I mean, if we have that discussion and they would prefer me doing that as opposed to, you know, what you said, and this is something that I'm serious about, I would probably consider that.
Okay.
Especially like younger Earl, before I knew about all the side effects that y'all were going through with it, I was just like, yeah, go on the pill.
Every dude says that, though. They don't know.
But then, as I realized, like, you know, with, like, you know, my experience with, like, you know, other women and stuff, and I just seen, like, the horrors and heard about, like, the hemorrhaging and the irregularities with your menstrual cycle and stuff, and it's just, like,
that's kind of feel guilty a little bit.
Yeah, I feel horrible. This is just for me, and it was, like, and then I just sit down away and, like, do I see myself with this person to make her go through all this shit? And it's like, you know what, I'm not an asshole. I would like to think I'm not one, you know?
Right.
So
it's not about assholes, like what you said, you were never informed. I feel like we're now in a generation where a lot of women are now advocating more than they did before.
Right. So with all that advocation and everything, and now I'm more educated about it, it's like I would rather you not take it. So
then my question leads, okay, so now that you're educated, also like you have a son.
Yes.
would this conversation be something you would bring up when he becomes of sexual active age? Like if he's like 18, obviously we're not going to talk about getting your kid snipped at 16.
Right.
But if he made it to 24, no kids or whatever, is this something you're going to add in the repertoire of options when he has when you have the sex talk? Well, you'll have it earlier, but I'm just saying, like, if he's now a man, yo, son, you know, I don't know if you know this, but a vasectomy.
Because I don't want him to get caught up.
Exactly.
You know, at the end of the day, he's gonna be his own person. I can't control who he's gonna talk to. If he wants to go out there and be slaying women, like, you know what, be safe about it. But at the same time, like, you know, you can replace women, but you cannot replace having a child. You know, and I'll be damned if you don't take up that responsibility.
Right.
You know, so it's just like, here's a way to secure yourself and not be caught up with a little surprise.
Yeah.
So I would definitely talk to him about that. And I don't see, of course that's his choice, but then with the fact of, like I said, the delivery, instead of me telling him, oh, it's going to get snipped, throwing it in the garbage. Like, nah.
Your balls is gone.
But talking to him about it, like, you know, like, it can be reversible. If you decide that, you know, a girl that you vibe with and want to be with, then y'all could talk about kids in the future, and then reinstate yourself. Yeah. Then cool. You know, so like even now, like I'm ready to shoot right now. Like I'm good, but I might think about it.
Yeah, that was going to be my next follow-up question, because you already have a son.
Yeah.
So now my thing is, do you want more kids in the next 5 years? Are you good with him?
Right now, I feel like listen to me saying it right now, I'm one and done right now. I might be one and done.
So what will you do now moving forward? I'm not saying you have to have the answer, but are you now in the mindset of thinking, like, you know, I don't know, what's your mindset with all of this?
My mindset right now,
He's like, do you guys want to know what's up?
Right now is because you know, I don't know what you're doing as far as like dating or whatever.
Right.
But my thing is, like, if you could say with a fact that right now I'm one and done, or like at least for the next 5 years, you don't see yourself really out there trying.
Yeah. So
what are you?
So right now, especially with it not being as pricey as it should be, in my opinion, yeah, I would get a vasectomy. It will give me a certain type of security in the back of my head also. And then I also don't feel pressured because I feel like my lineage is right here. So for the other reason that I can't get back to my own natural state, I already have my son, so I'm okay.
What about if they brought out like a shot or a pill? Would you guys take it?
Would you take the pill? So y'all want to take the birth control pill?
No.
What if like a shot? You would take a shot?
No.
I'd have to give it a couple trials at the
See what the son.
Of course.
In a couple years, you know, if that was going to be the case.
Right.
Because the point that you made is men could have kids well into their 70s. So my whole thing is, at some point, this old, like, I mean, yeah, we go through menopause, but at the same time, at some point, like, just like snip it and get her done, because like this way.
I'm pretty sure men will have ED before that happens.
I mean, Viagra came and removed that, right?
I don't know.
Viagra was supposed to be like a heart medication. They realized, oh, it can give men erections. Rebranded Viagra. Here you go. And now men can have erections up until their 70s. Hence Larry King. And he had to have it with a younger woman because we expire at some point in time. Not to say that like women, like we just peel over.
Well, lately we've been pushing it to like a good 40.
Like the 40s.
40.
But we have a certain time period that we have, like our most 30, 34, 33 is like a geriatric pregnancy. Like if you're pregnant at 33, they're telling you there's health risks already in your 30s. So you're going to find a lot of young girls coming at you like, okay, he in his 50s. I'm in my 20s. I want a baby. I can lay up on him, get it.
I don't know. I just feel like the stigma around it, like, I just hope that the conversation, and I appreciate you guys for, like, jumping in. I did not warn you guys ahead of time that this was the conversation we were going to have. But it's like, I just feel like this conversation is one that needs to start happening freely and not with, like, a disgust appeal to it when it comes to men, because of the simple fact that it's not like we're asking for you guys to get like heart transplant surgery. It's something that is, from what I've read, for the most part, like the least invasive surgery a man can have. It costs damn near next to nothing.
But I also feel like I just feel a way about it for the fact that since I already have a kid, it's not, prior to Logan, prior to my son, I'd probably be so against it. But now since I'm like, okay, I have a kid,
You ain't trying to have no futures out here, having another one and another one and another one and another.
And another one.
That's too stressful. That's too much different type of personalities and.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I just want us to start moving forward in the conversation of getting away from us having to take all of these things that are not, and it's not even like the pill is getting better or developing better. I think they feel like they met their mark with birth control when they really haven't. And it's just like, men are just like, once again, just free. And yes, we love the pleasure sense of like not wearing a condom. We can't take that away. But at the same time, like as a woman, our mantra in bed shouldn't be, I hope I don't get pregnant. I hope I don't get pregnant. I hope I don't get pregnant.
This is the first time I'm hearing that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I know that's what's going through your head.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not saying it don't feel good, but it do pop up. Like, in your head, you're just like, all right, I hope, like, this Precum, or I hope, like...
Or you hope 2 weeks later, it's like, I hope it doesn't...
I hope my period comes. Like, let's believe it's still a thing that's a thought after sex is over. Like, once sex is over, and then, like, you're looking at that period that, oh, shit, I was ovulating this week? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know I was ovulating this week. Oh, shit, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, it's really, like, sex isn't... I found out I'm more freeing now with sex because I now officially, I don't take birth control. And dudes that I'm with, I'm just like, condom. Like, I don't care about, like, but it's also like, I don't care about you. I care about me. I'm prioritizing my body. And I don't care, but you know, I don't give a shit. I don't want to take birth control. And I don't want to take the Plan B either. Oh, yeah. That shit is the worst.
Plan B is 3 birth control. I actually have to take one. It was like 3.
It's the worst. It makes you bleed early. Or sometimes skips your period.
So, all right. So now so is sex better for you now with the condom and now you get security in the back of your head?
I just don't fear anymore. Like now
it's more enjoyable for you.
Yeah, it's more enjoyable because, and it's crazy, it's more enjoyable for me because I just don't have that fear of like, I hope I don't get pregnant. And I also don't have to take this pill that was dramatically affecting me. Like I was like, there'll be moments that I'm just sad and I don't know why. Or like my period was just so out of whack. Like sometimes it would like just come out of nowhere or not at all. Or
in like 3 days.
And my cramps were just bad in my hair. Like the only thing that was good about the birth control was my skin. But other than that, like I was just moving weird. But now that it's like kind of like taking off the beer goggles. Now, like, you see better, you realize this is my actual emotion. And I was growing hair in weird places. Yeah. Like, I would get, like, strands of hair on my chin. And, like, it's the extra hormones. Like, that's why when dudes be like, oh, you got tweezers. Yeah, sometimes we get hairy with this shit. Like, you got extra hair on your chin. Or, like, I was getting, like, this shrink. And I was just, like, mine. Like, or whatever. But it's, like, now that I'm just, like, you're wearing a condom, that's that. I feel like I'm enjoying it because, one, I'm advocating for myself. And 2, like, yeah, I know we good. Like, as long as I don't see that shit pop, we cool. Like, it's all in there? Good. Throw it in the toilet. Like, it's all in there.
And then that's always the fear, too, that I hope it doesn't pop or it doesn't break or something like that.
But it's like, I feel like you're not really breaking. If you're breaking it, something's dry.
Yeah.
Like, you need to, that's a different,
something's happening there.
It's either old condom or something's dry.
But doesn't the condom make it dry? All the rubber?
Like the friction, but then, you know, this lube is your friend. Like I said, I don't know why girls equate like, you know, you need a lube. It's like, you're dried up. It has nothing to do with your vagina being dry. It's everything to do with the condom and the friction. Eventually, it's going to dry out. Lube is your friend, ladies.
Lube
and not spit. Because don't nobody want BV.
Not petroleum jelly or Vaseline either. Please,
oh my God, when dudes be spitting on it, like that's once again another conversation. Not spit. Spit causes infections in the vagina. You cannot use spit. Use some lube. It's your friend, ladies. That does not mean your coochie dry. It just means that it just dried out, or it's an old condom. It is what it is. But I just feel like when it comes down to like knowing sex and how to maneuver in it, I'm in a better place with sex than I ever was before I was 27. And that's sad because that was like all them years of panic.
Yeah.
Because I thought this was the normal way. But it's like, you mean to tell me all this could be eradicated if a dude just got snipped? No, not snipped.
Thank you.
If a dude just got the vasectomy and then reversed it when you wanted to have kids. Mm-hmm. So many broken homes. Go back to your marriage conversation from the previous thing. Right. So many broken homes happen because people weren't ready. So a beautiful society would be if a man be like, I'm now ready. Mm-hmm. And if you're now ready, then you're home. And I think that's what I think that's the conversation that needs to be had. But
Absolutely.
yeah. I know this is a deep conversation, but I think y'all good though, right?
Nah, I'm chilling.
Y'all good though? Like, y'all but I'm so happy to have these two on my couch. Please tune in tune in whenever and also see all the back episodes. But yes, until next time, make sure you like, follow, subscribe. If you want to know how to find these two, they will be in the description box. And until next time, peace.